Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. So tonight we got a little side project I got to do real quick for a friend of mine. We're going to take this bell housing off of this Power Glide and put a J&W Ultra bell on it. So without any real further ado, I want to go ahead and get started on it. Let me switch over to the other camera, get these lights rearranged. So the first thing we got to do is seal this up. Now they already had that tape on there when I picked it up. We're going to leave that there. And then I'm going to get me some duct tape going here. As soon as I can get the end of the roll pulled up. Good enough shape. And I want to go ahead and tape this off a little bit better. Because what we don't want is any of the metal shavings getting in there in that seal. So I'm going to wrap it out to here. But what we got to do is get right in here. And this is where we're going to want to cut. Now, I tend to take it off a little large. And the way I've done this in the past is to get me a drill bit and punch right through between the teeth. And that seems to give you a pretty good indicator of where you want to drill. So we'll move over and make us another hole. And right here is the end result of that. And as you can see, I can stick my hand in here and block the light. And I'm just going to work my way all the way around. Now, as you get down here into this curve, you got to be careful. And when you get down here at the bottom, you got to be real careful. Because what we want to do, this is where your pan seals. And you just basically want to make that straight across and come up. So we'll probably do that with a hacksaw or the Sawzall. But we'll get to that in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and do some more drilling, and then we'll come back. So there's the bulk of the holes drilled. I still got to do some stuff down here in the corners. And then around the back side here, see where I've already started kind of cutting out the webbings between the holes. So here we are, all cleaned up, smoothed down, even with the front edge of the pan. Got everything all smoothed off so there's no sharp edges to cut yourself on while you're working on it later. This right here has got a little bit of an edge, but that's just kind of a byproduct. I'm going to try to reach in there real quick with the grinder and nip that off. Get this side nice and smoothed up. Now I got to put the bell housing on it. So here I go using my drill for non-drill purposes again. Multi-using your tools makes your dollars go farther. So what I'm doing now, I got to take these bolts out. I need to clean this little surface up just a little bit. It's got a little bit of rough on it. And that's where the bell housing is going to go. So we want it nice and clean. I'm going to rub it down again, but I want to get the bolts broke loose first, make sure we don't have any problems there. Then I'll take the Scotch-Brite and clean it up and take them all out. And I'll spare you all the brake cleaning this time, but that's what I did. I just cleaned it all off with the Scotch-Brite and then took the brake clean to it. And as you can see, I still got a little streaking on there from the paper towels. But we'll go ahead and get that off. And then I'm going to test fit the bell housing. And I got to remember to put the little O-rings. There's a little notch in here that the O-rings go in to seal this to the pump. And then you put a little red Loctite on your bolts and put a little sealer on the back side of the bell housing in here. And it helps it all seal up nice and tight and not drip. So next I stick a couple of bolts in it. And I do a test fit and make sure that it's tight against the front of the pump. And it looks like we got it made. So what I'm going to do now, I got my bolts laid out. I got my washers. So next, I'll put some sealer in here where the washers are going to go. Put the bolt in through the bell housing. Put the O-ring on the back. Put a little bit of trans jelly or high temp silicone grease, all that stuff works, onto the O-ring. It'll keep the bolt from falling through. And then I can get this thing up and run the bolts up. Once I got it all in place, then I'll torque it up to 20 pounds as prescribed in the instructions.
So next I'm ready to put the bell housing on. I've stuck the bolts through the holes, put the O-rings on the back with a little bit of gel, as I mentioned earlier. And now it's just a matter of keeping everything square and holding the bell housing up and getting the bolts started. And the trick is, to start each bolt by hand a little bit. I'm using my drill here at multiple purpose, once again with a tool. If you can take it and get more than one use out of it, it saves you money. So this little drill is not really powerful enough to over tighten these bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and run them all in as I'm doing here. I'll go back and hand tighten them with my ratchet just a little bit more so I don't have to spin my torque wrench so much. And then I'll go ahead and torque them to the 20 pounds as prescribed in the instructions that came with the JW bell housing. This is one of those confidence building projects, I guess would be a good way to describe this. It's not super difficult, but it's not super easy either. Anytime you take a part and cut it apart and put it back together, you're really taking a chance and saying, hey, I know what I'm doing, and if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to learn to do what I'm doing, so this project will be successful. Rather, you're putting this SFI approved bell housing on this Power Glide case, or if you were just putting on a swap bell housing to put it behind a small block Ford or a big block Chrysler, the risk is the same, but the gain in confidence when you complete it successfully is off the chart.
There it is. JW Ultra Bell installed. Power Glide. All ready to go. I hope my friend's got some brake clean. I would clean those runs off. I don't want to wipe them because it'll make it worse. And I had a brand new can of brake clean that didn't have anything in it in the box, and it was the last one in the box. So my fault for not checking them all. But I hope you found this video interesting, entertaining, useful in some manner. As always, practice your skills, learn a new one. Either way, turn them into craftsmanship. You never know how far they'll take you. So until next time, this has been Fab Race Mod Repeat. Have a great day.